All right, welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the Women's Open of Maryland, edition number 4, presented by BlueChip Technologies. This is round 1, the third of 3 nines. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Michelle Frazer.
I'm really excited for you to see this third 9 because it gets even a little harder than the first 2 9s. As we've talked about before, this layout was designed to be a little trickier as only the pros and advanced players would get to deal with the challenge. But before we go any further, I want to mention our sponsors, Sell Discraft, Rick Sassman's Decals, and all those who put this coverage together, allowed this coverage to happen.
Yeah, for sure. It really takes a village. Want to highlight Rick Sassaman. You can find him on Facebook at rsass decals. He made some really good player pack decals for our event, as well as the trophies. So very talented artist. If you or your club or your course need some decals, he's the guy to talk to.
So you can see all our scores are well under par at this point, well under course par, but the back 9 does play harder. So my mindset going into it is not to expect nearly as many birdies, or at least to expect a few bogeys to balance them out, and to play more to just trying to shoot par is a good score on a lot of these holes. For
sure. You've opened up a little bit of a lead, but the battle for kind of the opportunity to play on the Sunday lead card is very much in play for many players.
Right, so this first hole we have here, after a little bit of a break we get to take to get a little more energy for our last push to the finish, is a very reachable par 4, but it's tricky. Lots of trees, a slope from left to right. On the basket, it has a bit of a gully behind it, so plenty to get into. And Missy actually kicks off to the left there, in probably the thickest part of the trees.
Yeah, so you're saying it's kind of reachable, and it does play short. It does play a little bit downhill. I wonder if that is making some players, make choices they wouldn't ordinarily make.
Right.
Like I think Missy went distance driver there.
I agree. And I was trying to go for distance, but I'm playing in a way that I'm going to first focus on turning it over very far right, so that if I don't get the full flight path back, I'll at least be in an open spot, like where Lisa landed there with her forehand.
Right, sure. You see Missy conferring with her caddy there.
Yeah, it took us a long time to find her disc. We were starting to get pretty worried, and really glad when we did. It's very thick over there.
So forward progress is going to be really key here. She fights all the way back to the fairway near the B pin.
From having seen her live, from being in there looking for it, that was an excellent get out of trouble shot right there.
And Beth is going to kind of pop this up on hyzer. So that needs to stop before it gets all the way down the hill.
But that is the best way to get to the basket. She threw it a little long, but to go wide right and let it hyzer around all those guardian trees. 'Cause there's a lot of trees in front of the pin.
Yeah, this basket is not normally in play. It's kind of not once a year, but a tournament play, just because it is near another tee pad that we can avoid during the tournament layout.
So Lisa also trying to play that wide hyzer and taking it just a little bit deep on this tricky green.
Yeah, speed control is certainly of the essence. What's going on here?
I can't decide if I want to go right or left with that tree right in front of me. Second guessing it at the last minute, committing to trying to anhyzer through those trees. And almost get through all of them. I hit one right there at the end, but I'll have some type of putt for a birdie. It's hit or miss trying to go through those trees.
Yeah, for sure. More often hit, I find.
Yes, definitely. Missy looking to save a par there.
That's a good look from range for you.
I was just really glad it hit something and stuck. Lisa had a lot of bushes and branches there she was trying to putt out of. Good look there for Beth.
So it kind of seems like nobody's going to be taking a birdie here.
Yep, with Missy saving her par, she didn't lose anything with the wayward drive. On a short-ish, but very tricky par 4. Yeah, even in a practice round, when I did execute the drive perfectly and gave myself an eagle putt, I 3-putted and got a 4. So I know this hole is not easy, even when you play it well.
Yeah. So you, as kind of an East Coast golfer, you're going to prioritize gap hitting over distance.
Yes.
And this layout kind of sets up really nicely for that, where you don't have to just get on every shot.
Right. And I don't have a ton of distance to begin with. So actually, it's less about me backing off and allowing for accuracy and just actually allowing what my normal game is to come out. I don't play well on the long open courses, and I feel no pressure on a course like this to make any adjustments and have to try for distance. Just play my own game.
Yeah, when you let the touring players come to you, that's how you play.
Missy getting pretty far up the hill before that kick to the left, so that'll put her in a just fine spot. I turn that over way too much and do a 360.
This is kind of a classic Seneca hole where you need to be throwing uphill with a low ceiling and having the disc move a specific direction in the air. Like Lisa's drawing this to the right to flex back just at the end. That's a very, very good and disciplined shot.
That was an excellent shot. In both rounds, I never saw anyone getting all the way pin high. So it's a hard pin to reach. So she played that very well. Even on the upshot, you have to sneak it in low under those cedar trees, as Missy demonstrated there.
Stuck again?
They included all my second guessing on my upshots. I've been struggling with my hyzer upshots lately, so I've been trying to avoid them at all costs, but that shot just really called for a straightforward hyzer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really good from Lisa.
Beautiful putt, because that's circle 2 uphill. That was a really long putt, and she made it look really easy.
Yeah, and she has not had the cleanest round, and I don't think she's really been able to make putts at that range.
Yes, we get to see it again.
And you know, from watching Lisa in the past, that's kind of key to her game, is she's really good at circle 2 putts.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to get this final 9 going. Hey guys, I'm Michelle Frazer. Thanks for watching this coverage by Gatekeeper Media. I'd like to shout out my sponsors. First of all, Millennium Disc Golf for supporting my part-time touring for the last several years and making the best plastic on the planet. And also Bria Disc Golf, a disc golf store in New Jersey. Check out their brick and mortar store in East Jersey, as well as shopping for them online. So thanks for supporting my supporters. Hole 12 is a par 3 that requires a very specific shot shape, either a forehand or a turnover backhand, to reach the pin that's a little bit uphill and guarded by those trees off on the right.
Yeah, it's common for shots to end up in the valley with, you know, a 30 or 40 foot uphill putt.
Yeah, if you hit any of those guardian trees, that's probably where you're going to end up.
Not a bad shot. I think she kind of got under that a little bit.
Missy also going with the forehand. A little lower and just doesn't have time to fade back as far as she would have liked, but in the fairway.
So far, we haven't seen Missy get especially good releases on her forehands. I wonder if that's something that she's, you know, making a conscious effort to incorporate into her game, as you see 269 and throw it 296 instead.
Yeah, my favorite disc for that shot shape goes a little long. But it's uphill at the end, so it's kind of safe to do an ace run. Beth calmly and confidently throwing through those trees for a tap out par.
Yeah, I like seeing out of Beth that she knows what her game is, and she's not panicking. She's kind of just throwing the same couple discs that she knows well.
So you can't see this here, but Lisa's drive actually looked like it was a tombstone lie. And we got up there and it wasn't in the mud, but it was balanced up against a stick. It was the fanciest fake tombstone we'd ever seen. And I ran another downhill putt and I'm smiling because it went in and I don't have to deal with the comeback.
Still, good birdie for you.
Yep, I know there's some hard holes coming, so happy to get a birdie while I have a chance. Nice putt from Lisa to move on with her par.
Yeah, nothing fancy about it. Hole 13. This is probably the signature hole at Seneca. It's a dogleg par 4 that needs to be broken up into 2 shots. This manhole cover is a pretty good landing zone, and then we're going to keep turning right. OB lines the entire left side. This is the hole that dreams and nightmares are made of.
Yeah, it's a really tricky hole. It played the hardest par in the FPO division, averaging nearly a full stroke over par, because there's a lot of trouble you can get into, but even though I'm scared of this hole, I'm looking forward to getting to it as well because it's really beautiful. I turned that over way too much and fortunately do not roll all the way to the OB, but I have a lie in the fairway, though I still have the dog leg too many of the...
That seemed like it was a cut roller waiting to happen.
It was. I was relieved. Lisa plays the safer forehand shots, hugging those trees on the right, but she should still be able to get around the corner on her second shot pretty easily. Missy's the gutsy shot straight down the middle with a backhand.
Very nice flip up, and probably she'll have about the same kind of shot for her second one.
It looked like she was aiming right at that manhole cover you mentioned as being a good landing spot.
Yeah.
Good finish. Beth takes a little of the corner away, but is also up on the right side like Lisa, so might have a little more to deal with on her second shot. I'm just trying to throw an approach disc around the corner. And from where I was landing, I thought I was flirting with the OB, and I was scared, but it turned out to be in the middle of the fairway.
It's wildly deceptive.
That is a good-looking forehand from Missy right there. Is it a little short, but still safe, which is what you want on this whole par is really good.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit pinched, kind of in the same way that Lisa was.
Right.
And both of them do well to get back in bounds. Oh no!
Yeah, that branch was brutal there.
Rude. I don't see a graphic, so I believe that's still safe though. Surviving a brush with death.
So I turn over that shot a little too much, but at least it's safe. If you're gonna miss the basket, it's the right side to miss on.
Missy's been on point with this green disc she's using for approaches. Once again, easy pickings.
Nice up by Lisa.
Yeah, I like the touch there.
So Beth is actually safe here because at this point, the OB line gets closer to the actual water, whereas earlier on the fairway, the OB line was much trickier. So she had a little room to land there. A little too high on the left side.
A little bit. Not quite robbery. But a bogey you probably didn't feel like you needed.
No, without going out of bounds, it felt sad to get a bogey, but I just got a birdie before, so I'm still playing par on this last 9, which is my goal. And since I felt like that first shot should have rolled out of bounds, I kind of felt like I deserved it. Not that there's really that such thing in disc golf, but it seemed to work out. Here you're playing over the creek, trying to just land in this fairway. The basket is tucked away in the trees on the side of the hill. It's a very fun green to get to.
Yeah, it's pretty key here to set yourself up where you can attack it. It's not hard to pinch yourself up in a way that like you can't land at the basket on your second shot.
Right. See the beautiful fall colors of Seneca shown off here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sadly that never ends up across the creek.
Good correction by Missy. She's leaking a little bit right, but it's still in a throwable spot.
Right, she'll just have to do more of an Anheuser forehand for her second shot. Beth catches one of the last trees on the left side and actually kicks out of bounds there as well. I'm trying to do what Missy does, hug the right side and hope for a little fade back out to the center and get a nice skip there across the leaves.
Yeah, that was kind of like the first instance of wind I think I've seen.
Yeah, we haven't been dealing with much wind until, this back nine when we get in the open on like the last hole I remember was the windiest point of the day.
Gotcha.
We teed off early in the morning, so the wind was picking up more as the day went along.
So what's going on here?
I think she is... Oh, she was asking us if it's okay if her follow-through hits the branches in front of her, which of course is okay. Gets a lot of distance on that, but unfortunately finds the other side of the rough.
Yeah, she's going to kind of be pinched up in some Russian olive, which is an invasive species that the park would be happy to have cleared out. It's been kind of a slow process where the group of Seneca locals, led by Mr. Bill Underwood, are getting to what they can and where it makes sense for just good course play.
So Missy leaves that a little short. It's definitely hard to gauge the distance on the hill there and get it to land on the side of the hill. I bring it in on too steep of an angle and would have gotten more of a roll back if it hadn't hit that tree.
Yeah, really nice shape though. And kind of like I led off with, Beth was in a spot that you really can't throw steeply enough to get to the basket. So she's going to have to throw another approach shot.
But makes that shot look easy.
Yeah, nicely done.
Missy with the putt for her birdie and hits another long putt.
She's still bouncy on hole, 23 that we've played?
Well, she does have a caddy.
Oh, yeah.
That does help. And again, left and high, but didn't really give that one any sort of a chance to stay in. Lisa with the early OB taps out for a double bogey. And Beth saves a bogey after going out of bounds as well. The next 3 holes are going to be short and very wooded, all birdieable, but you can get a kick in very interesting directions. And I know when I practiced this hole, I saw Fish out here spray painting these circles, and I just want to shout out to all the work that went into this course for the signage and all the OB circles. I saw Allie and Fish both out here both days I was practicing. I'm really grateful for it. The course looked great for a tournament.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I feel like, I'm kind of putting on the finishing touches, but I'm about an hour 20 away. So the folks who live near the course and are mobilized to, do weed whacking and tree trimming and just like the daily maintenance tasks that nobody thinks about until they're done wrong. Mm-hmm. Like they're done right at Seneca.
Yeah.
So quick plug, if you want your course to look better, go do it. Go find the folks who can direct you, who can teach you what is needed.
So this hole is a hyzer off the tee. The trick is to not let it fade off too early, which I learned through several errant shots in practice, to try to get it straight and still hyzer back at the end to get the shortest putt possible. Missy has a really long putt from going too straight.
Yeah, I like that even though this says 219, it makes you throw, kind of a demanding flip up to glide type shot.
Right, and I am throwing a driver there. I'm throwing my Falcon by Millennium to get enough distance on it to not fade off too early for me.
And a couple good birdies there. This is a nice one to get. You know, you just come off of the two of the hardest par fours on the course.
Right. And Lisa and I each had a bogey in there.
Exactly.
Oh, she had a double even. So that bounce back to her birdie is pretty important here. This might be the tightest hole on the course. I found this one to be very demanding. Reachable par 3, but I'm not even playing it for a birdie from getting in trouble while practicing. I'm just trying to get something down the fairway and get an easy up and down for par.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the trees on this just don't line up or are at weird distances where there's not a truly natural way to throw it. So you're going to kind of push the left side of the fairway and get a nice drop straight down.
Incredible drop there, because I definitely missed the main part of the fairway that I'm trying to hit. So Lisa does hit it, fades off more than she would like at the end, but at least got some more distance.
Yeah, the slope to the left sneaks up on you in a hurry. And boy, that crosswind seems like it's really going to complicate keeping the disc on a clean anhyzer.
But it made for lovely woods to walk in with all the leaves falling. Definitely got distracted trying to catch a few. Sadly, Beth hits the guardian tree and gets a bit of a roll down the slope. But she has a very powerful forehand to get herself out of trouble.
It's nicely done.
It was an awesome shot
to
watch.
Yep, sign up for that all the time.
So I'm trying to throw straight through all those trees and not slope too much at the end.
Was that chain high? I think it was chain high.
Yeah, it turned out into a good run. I misestimated the distance. Lisa actually has a putt for a birdie here, which is excellent.
And Missy will have the same.
Yeah, it's a strongly uphill putt there for her.
Yeah, I like the effort. You know, she's putting herself in position to score.
You can't see from that view, but that hit full chains.
Oh no.
I was very sad about that putt. But at least I can walk away feeling like I gave it my best run.
Yeah, I hope the magic hasn't kind of worn off from your first couple nines.
Yeah, well, that bogey put me back to par for the last 9. And in my head at this point, I'm just like, finish out par the next 2 holes. And you get to attack the course again tomorrow.
Yeah. So you are a live score watcher.
I am.
Were you monitoring what the rest of the field was doing at this point? Like, you know about these 3 players, but there's other good ones out there.
Right. So Sarah had been, 2 behind me going into the back 9, and I saw that she was also struggling on these holes. Got a couple bogeys as well in the woods. Basically same holes I was bogeying. So that did make me feel better and encouraged me to hang in there.
Yeah. You don't wish ill on anybody else, but
Never.
It's nice to put in context of what you're doing.
But nice to know that the holes were hard.
Yeah.
Is really what that was helping me with.
So hole 17 slopes from right down to left. You can kind of either throw a backhand up to the high right side, as Lisa's doing very nicely, or a forehand that's a little lower and more direct straight at the basket.
The difficulty with Lisa's route, which is also what I'm trying to take, is as a backhand player, you're kind of trying to even turn it over a little bit there, and it's hard to get enough height on it to then fade back down left, as you see neither of them did.
And if you leave it too high, like any disc that catches edge here is going to run very quickly.
Right. So I actually am going to try to turn it over a little and just turn it over too much.
Yeah, you found some Russian olive for sure.
really tight little gap through those trees I have to hit, and I hit one. Beth lays that up well. She's played all these downhill putts very sensibly.
Oh.
But again, like you're saying, Lisa's circle 2 putts are really well designed to not fly too far past the basket, so she'll be just fine there after that run.
Yeah, it seemed like she threw that one even more softly than normal. And Missy wanted no part of her circle's edge attack.
I'm still running putts outside the circle, but fortunately I hit the basket. But yeah, feeling a little deflated after 2 bogeys in a row, but can't be disappointed with the round. Excited to have been on the feature card, to be back on it the next day, and actually had a really lovely time playing with these ladies. And the Gatekeeper Meteor guys were out there too, and they were fun on our card as well. So can't complain. It was a great day. Yeah,
good. We're glad every time we hear that folks had a good experience at the tournament. And, you know, that's a huge part of growing women's disc golf, is providing an opportunity for players to just, you know, meet more women who like to play disc golf, and to have an experience where, like, they can have fun together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun getting to see all the ladies not only crossing paths during the round and giving each other pep talks and cheering each other on, but also in the practice rounds as well, running into each other. It was really fun. So Lisa going just a little too far right there. There's really a narrow zone of where you want to set up your drive on this hole to have a shot at the birdie, because it does play pretty long playing uphill.
Yeah, it's very uphill. You're going to need to throw probably a backhand that isn't on pure hyzer. It's going to flip up and ride, basically like that.
Right, you're trying to get on top of that slope where she's landing.
And then from there, it's going to be a forehand or a turnover backhand that moves kind of left to right, unless you're trying to sneak through some trees.
Yeah, so I'm happy with my distance getting to that slope I was talking about, but actually being further left of where I was is an even better lie. So Lisa's pinched off here on the right, but does a great accuracy shot getting through all those trees with her forehand. The wind's coming into play a little bit here now, as you mentioned. So I'm trying to fight the wind and do a big anhyzer. It flattens out more than I'd like, but long putt for the birdie.
Yeah, and you know, you see a hard par 4 like this, you're not thinking necessarily birdie, you're thinking chance at birdie.
Right,
like,
exactly.
That's kind of a moral victory in and of itself.
Except I've given myself this artificial target of playing par on the back, so I really, really want this birdie. Play a lot of head games with myself during the round. So that's up there for her par. Lisa pitching up for a par as well.
You see, Missy believed in that for a minute.
This is really fun because out in the parking lot were all the other ladies having finished up their rounds, and they were all cheering for us as we were putting out.
That's great.
So circle 2, uphill putt.
Oh, get it.
I was so happy.
One last run up to the basket. All right, as we see everybody finish up, really solid rounds from our entire card. Tomorrow we're going to see you. We'll see Missy, and we'll see Lisa, who beat out Lori Merriman in the tie for 4th place on the round 2 feature card by way of her PDGA number.
And then Sarah Holcomb will also be joining our card as well.
Yeah, so really strong starts by everyone. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to our sponsors, especially RSAS Decals. And please like, fave, subscribe, tell all your friends about these videos. It really helps support Gatekeeper Media. It helps support the women who are on tour, who are playing. And your support is what makes this community great. For Michelle Frazer, I'm Andrew Fish.